Hi guys, welcome back, Kalclash Fitness. Now we're here today to talk about one of my favourite subjects, which is barefoot running and minimal running. But what is the difference? And I know a lot of people get confused, so we're here today to debunk a couple of myths and figure that out. So this is a good example of a barefoot running shoe. This is a good example of a minimal running shoe. This is the Newton MV Cubed or MV3, and this is the Vibram Fivefingers VRUN, or as it used to be called, the Bikila Evo. Both absolutely phenomenal shoes, and I swear by both of them. I do pretty much all of my running and training in Vibram Fivefingers, and I'll do the vast majority of my actual competitions in Newton MV Cubed or MV Squared. Now, why is that, and what are the main differences, and what do you need to watch out for? So, let's start with barefoot shoe. We'll go through what a barefoot shoe is and what makes up a barefoot shoe and what qualifies as a barefoot shoe, and then we'll have a look more at the minimal shoes as well. And why do I race in one and train in the other? Now, a barefoot running shoe, essentially as the name suggests, should simulate as closely as possible running completely barefoot, but will give you protection against modern elements. So running on uneven ground with glass and shrapnel and dog turds and all the rest of it that you don't really want to be treading in bare feet. These will give you some element of protection from that. So the sole, there will be a sole. It should be pretty tough going, tough wearing, and it should stop any glass or nails or anything like that. So Vibram Fivefingers are very good. I've done thousands of miles and nothing's ever penetrated through them. And I also ran for miles and miles and miles in these with the sole like that. So the sole should be thin, and it should be very, very flexible. So a barefoot running shoe, you should essentially be able to roll it up into a little ball. If you can't, it's not really a barefoot running shoe in my book. You don't necessarily have to have, so in order to be barefoot running shoe, the Vibram Fivefingers obviously have the individual toe slots. The important thing to note about barefoot running shoe is that it should allow your toes to splay out. Right, so either individual toes or a nice wide toe box, so that when you land, when you forefoot strike, your toes are able to splay out as they would if you were running barefoot. Okay, so that's very, very important. They should also be very light. So again, comes with the territory of trying to simulate barefoot running, but they should be incredibly light. You shouldn't really be too aware that you've got them on your feet. So they should be the closest thing humanly possible to running barefoot. That's pretty much it. They should be very comfortable, they should be very enjoyable, and they should give you an incredible amount of ground perception. That's a very important point. So everything that's going on underneath your feet, your brain is able to recognize that straight away. You can feel every nook and cranny, every bump, every crevice, every turn and every twist in the road, branches, anything like that. You're able to, your brain's able to perceive what's going on underneath its feet and react to that. Okay, and that's a very stimulating feeling, and that is what barefoot running is all about. Just being able to feel what's underneath you and what's between you and the ground, and that's a very great feeling. So that is a barefoot running shoe. Another example of barefoot running shoe would be the Merrell Vapor Glove. Again, not quite as barefoot, but yeah, it pretty much is. You know, it rolls up, has a very thin sole, it's Vibram Fivefingers, and this has a good example of a wide toe box. Minimal running shoes then. So let's move on to minimal running shoes. Minimal running shoes, and this definition this is my definition, this is Steve Kalclash definition, but I've running in them in many years now. A minimal running shoe differs slightly. So let's analyse. First of all, in order to be a minimal running shoe, in my opinion, in my book, in my definition, it has to have a zero drop. So none of this high heel nonsense, all right? So basically what that means is from heel to midfoot, there's no padding, there's no additional elevation on your heel. Okay, so it's completely flat. You've got a completely flat surface to run on, as you would barefoot. You don't have you don't run in high heels. That's not what we're designed to do as human beings. So that's very important. Minimal running shoes, so they'll have that. They'll still should be pretty flexible, but they're going to be nowhere near as flexible as a Vibram Fivefinger as a barefoot running shoe. Okay, so they're not quite as flexible, and they will offer some element of padding. So as you can see here, with this example, it's not, I can't remember off the top of my head actually how much padding this has, but it has a little bit of padding. These ones also come with lugs, which we'll ignore for this video. But essentially, barefoot running shoes will have some padding, and you'll be able to notice that. And really, that's the only difference. They should still be super lightweight. In order to be minimal running shoe, they should still be super lightweight. These Newton MV3s are lighter than the Merrell Vapor Glove, for example. And I'd need to get the scales out, and believe it or not, I would say they're probably lighter than the Vibram Fivefinger. And this Vibram Fivefinger is missing a good amount of material as well. So an incredibly light shoe. This is an incredibly fast shoe. Essentially what the main differences are for me in my book, running thousands and thousands of miles in these, and this is why I do my competitions in these and my main training in these. Barefoot running shoes offer the best injury-free running, the most enjoyable running experience. Okay, you absorb all of the impact through your ligaments, through your muscles, and that's why you're going injury-free. There's no absorption through any joints or anything like that. The tendons and the muscles that are supposed to absorb the impact absorb the impact, and that's cool. That's the nature's way of absorbing the impact. So they're just a beautiful way to run injury-free, and they build up your running strength so much. Just imagine every step that you're taking, you're building up all of those tendons, all of those ligaments, all of those muscles. Your calves, your ankles, your feet are becoming so strong. Right? So it is the best way to train running, because your running muscles, and I believe it or not, there are running muscles. You're not supposed to run on your heels and through your hips and that. Your running muscles become incredibly strong when training in barefoot running shoes. And then the trade-off with these is they're still very minimal. They don't have the heel. They allow you to run with the same technique as barefoot running shoes, but the additional little bit of padding there and lack of flexibility, or slight lack of flexibility, essentially what that does, it allows you to run with all those muscles you've developed, but it also gives a little bit more pushback as well. So a little bit more of an advantage when you hit. That padding does nothing really for absorbing impact, so that's a myth. But what it does do is it transfers the energy more effectively behind you, at a cost, obviously, of driving that energy through your body and through your skeletal structure a little bit more. So a little bit more risk of injury, in my opinion, versus barefoot running shoes. But you will get the speed increase, which is why I race in these. I am faster, and that is a fact. I am faster in the Newton MV3s than I am in barefoot running shoes, or really any other running shoes, minus the spikes. These shoes are incredibly fast, so I race in these, and I'll obviously do some training in these to become accustomed to them nearer to race day, or if I just want to smash out a super fast time. I'm really fast in these. I keep my technique solid because I've built that up in the barefoot running shoes, in the Vibram Fivefingers in general, and I race in these beasts. There are the differences between minimal and barefoot running shoes. Both are fantastic, both have their place. I do most of my miles in the barefoot running shoes, and the minimal running shoes just help me smash out those times, smash out the marathon times, smash out whatever times I'm doing. Distance isn't a key. I haven't mentioned distance. Both shoes are great if you've trained. As with any shoes or any training, if you've trained for 100 meters or a marathon or an ultra marathon, both are great. It's all in the training, okay? Guys, please like, share, subscribe. It massively helps. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed already, if you want to see my other videos, please do subscribe. Follow me on Patreon as well. That's down in the comment section down below. Guys, you know what to do by now. Thank you so much for watching. Please do hit that like button. Keep it rolling.